Yo, what's happening, people, and welcome back to the Tiki Taka podcast, where you're going to hear hot takes, unbiased opinions, and hopefully have a couple laughs along the way. And also, I have to welcome Francisco Conceição to the JK Penitentiary, the Jacob Kiwior Penitentiary. Joining the likes of Ivan Toney, Mohamed Kudus, Harvey Elliott, and Diogo Jota. All locked up in the Jacob Kiwior Penitentiary. That list will be getting added to as the weeks go on. And who knows, man, Doku or Foden, you could be up next.
Anybody could be in there,
You could be up next.
Legit.
But I thought, Michael, that this week we were going to have to do something else. Because I thought maybe the football results weren't going to give us that much to talk about. But football was alive this week.
Lo and behold, yeah.
Football was well and truly alive. But before we get into this weekend's football, this is the first chance we've had to talk about the Champions League and Arsenal's victory over Porto. A fantastic night at the Emirates. Atmosphere was unbelievable.
One of the best ever, you've said.
Yeah. It was from start to finish, booing the Porto players throughout the whole game whenever they had possession. And on the penalties, the booing and I almost passed out because I was forgetting to breathe.
Yeah.
I was doing so much.
Oh, I don't think I said this on the pod. But I was saying a couple... Oh, did I say this on the pod? No, I don't think I said this on the pod, but I was saying last week or the week before about how, I didn't want games to be easy. Oh, well, I was like,
yeah.
We were beating teams 4-5, 4-5, 4-5-6, and I was like, it's not as fun. But that game, those, and it's only this part of the season really. Obviously, we just had another one in the FA Cup, but those, it goes to extra time games. Yeah. Like it's so much. It takes so much out of you as a fan. Like 3 hours of like watching football on the edge, the jeopardy involved.
Imagine if you're trying to hate watch.
Yeah, the result was fun. The game itself wasn't fun. Fun to me. But then when I watch the scenes back and when you see David Raya make the saves and stuff, and you see, the best bit always. When everybody's on the halfway line, like arms around each other for penalties, and the keeper makes the save or the guy misses, and like half the players just drop to their knees, half the players start running towards the goal. I love that. I love that photo always because that's what sports is about. Yeah. No, it was really good.
Yeah, and Arsenal broke the round of 16 curse.
Yeah,
that was
crazy.
Mikel Arteta's record in Europe at Arsenal hasn't been that great. You mentioned about games going to extra time and stuff. I was having flashbacks to Sporting last year. And we obviously got knocked out on penalties, another Portuguese team. But that was the last kind of blemish, so to speak, on Arteta's Arsenal career. And obviously, us as Arsenal fans want to win a trophy this season, for sure.
Yeah,
right?
It's a good
team. That breaking that round of 16 thing was the last thing that Mikel Arteta kind of had to achieve this season. So in terms of we needed to be in a title race again, right? Yeah. That was kind of the bread and butter in the league. Let's make sure we're there or thereabouts. Whether we win it or not, obviously we know what City are like. We've been saying it all year on this podcast, but make sure we're there or thereabouts.
Yeah.
And in the Champions League, break that round of 16 curse. Like, we're not just there to compete anymore. We've got a very good team. And he's done that, man. He quarterfinals of the Champions League. We're top of the league in a minute.
No,
he's done that.
You know what's funny is I know what you're saying in terms of, and I agree with your point in terms of we deserve to be challenging for the league. That's what we wanted as fans at the start of the season. We wanted a deep run in the Champions League. And that's what we've got in both cases. But I am still shocked. Not shocked, but I'm still like slightly like, I can't quite believe it just because, I mean, that's the whole point of football seasons. But there were points in the season where I couldn't see this happening.
Yeah.
Being top of the league at this stage.
Yeah.
Being in the Champions League quarterfinal. So I still want to give Mikel massive credit because I know it's what fans were expecting. But to even just reach the bare minimum expectations, not, it doesn't deserve like a over-the-top eulogy, but just... some considerable recommendation because damn, this is crazy for us.
Yeah. And that's not to say that like had we not won against Porto or whatever that Arteta's failed.
Yeah, and he has to leave.
Whatever. But that was just for a lot of Arsenal fans. They looked at this year and they thought, all right, let's be there or thereabouts.
Yeah.
And he's done that. And let's try and break that round of 16 curse. Let's try and go to, obviously, 14 years since we've been in the quarterfinals. Like, Mikel Arteta's doing things at Arsenal that we haven't seen an Arsenal manager do in a long, long time.
I was going to say, how many times have us as Arsenal fans been, like in terms of our generation, been fighting for something?
Yeah.
At this stage of the season, 2 seasons in a row. Like, normally this is when it all falls apart.
It was that classic, our season's over in March.
Yeah, this is when it all falls apart.
Yeah.
This is like when we lose our best player, when we get knocked out of the cup, when we get knocked out of Champions League, when we lose 3 games or like we haven't won in 3 in the Prem or something like that. So yeah, just big credit. And the draw, I mean,
well, before we get on to the draw, just on the Porto game in particular, we spoke before that game and we both said Gabriel Jesus on that left.
Yeah.
Has to be. And look, that's why we're not Premier League managers. That's why we're not doing what Mikel Arteta is doing, because and it was a weird one, right? Because everything up until Trossard scored and everything after Trossard scored told me this guy needs to be subbed.
Trossard, yeah.
Right?
You know,
I don't think he had a great game, but Mikel Arteta probably looked at it. He saw how disciplined Porto were. Shout out Porto, by the way.
Yeah, they were good.
They are one of the most well-drilled teams.
Conceição, and I love that Conceição video. And like when he's got the cigar.
Yeah. That's brilliant. But yeah, and we'll speak a bit about Porto and what they did. But I think Arteta knew we're not going to have loads of chances in this game.
Yeah.
But I need players on the pitch that when that chance does fall, they take it. And I said to you, I'm so glad that chance fell to Trossard, because out of everyone on the pitch, I probably back him the most to score that kind of. And it was a difficult chance, a difficult finish.
No, it was
tight angle, and Gabriel Jesus probably doesn't score that. So shout out Mikel, man, right decision again.
No, I agree with that 100%. I agree that Trossard didn't. Trossard has these very weird moments where it's like, obviously he's been on a rich vein of form. We've been giving him a lot of credit, and he's been doing the things. But as soon as Martinelli is not in the squad at all, and Trossard is like, I got this left wing position locked down today. Yeah. He just doesn't, this season, seem to put in like the greatest 70-minute performance camp, But I'm not here to kill him. I just think that between him and Odegaard, and maybe this is easy to say in hindsight, but in those kind of games, in the games that Porto made it, like, you're not going to get a clear-cut opportunity. You're going to get half chances at best. Like, those are the kind of players you want to, create the half chance, and then obviously Trossard to sort of finish the half chance. He probably is our best half chance taker in the squad. Like, he's got the tech, he's got the code.
And that's ultimately, I think, why he started that.
And played so long as well. I think Arteta probably thought, I know he's been poor, but if we do get another half chance, he will bury it. You know,
or he's the most likely to, at least.
Yeah.
And you mentioned him there, Martin Odegaard.
Yeah,
captain's performance,
special. Didn't you ask me the other week? Between like him, Saka, and who else were we talking about? In terms of like, who do we think is the best player, or who do you think has the highest ceiling?
Yeah. Well, the original conversation was Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, and Smith Rowe.
Yeah.
That was back in like 2021, 22.
Is it? I thought we spoke about it recently on the pod.
Yeah. Well, we spoke about who Arsenal's best player is.
Yeah. Yes.
And with Saka.
Oh, yes. And I was saying...
And I kind of said Saka.
Yeah.
That was maybe off the hype of the Liverpool game and stuff. To be honest, I think I would still stick with that.
I think Odegaard is probably our purest footballer. Like,
yeah.
Like, and for that,
but that's completely changing the conversation.
No, that's true. That is true.
But I mean, you had Martin Odegaard as Mikel Arteta's second best signing.
Yeah,
and that kind of performance evidence as to why.
I think for me, the best thing about Odegaard's performance was not even his ability necessarily on the ball, because I know he has that, but his sort of mentality that he was showing in the match to want to be a leader, to want to be a captain, to take a penalty first, to choose which side but to take the pens on, to always press, cheer the fans
extra time, on. I would love to know Martin Odegaard's running stats from that game.
He did 14-15K.
Yeah, in extra time, the way he was going, the way he was pressing,
I really like.
And like you say, that that like just 5 seconds of quality that you need to unlock a stern, like unbreakable Porto defense.
Yeah,
and he
said
a
it was
lovely touch, slips in Trossard. It was just.
I mean, the pass was literally precision.
Yeah,
it was pinpoint.
Yeah, perfect.
But I love the fact that he said it was on him today to get the team over the line and delivered.
And the penalty, like you say there, I think that's massive as well.
Yeah,
like, You're the captain. He did it in the Community Shield as well.
Yeah.
You're the captain. Step up. Pressure's on. The first pen of the shootout as well. The whole Emirates goes silent as you step up to take your pen, and buried. I mean, all 4 pens. Saka's pen was brilliant.
Yeah. Rice, Kai Havertz.
Kai Havertz took the best pen in my opinion.
Yeah, send him the wrong
ice
way.
Cold, just didn't even really celebrate. Just a little fist pump and turn back. And Declan Rice, man, shout out Declan Rice. Like, he put his penalty straight down the middle, but
he was the most nervous then. That's what I think.
Maybe, but he stepped up.
100% he stepped up.
You know, like everyone always says this. Mikel saying, "Okay, who wants to take a pen?" Odegaard saying, "I'll take it." Saka saying, "I'll take it." Havertz saying, "I'll take it." We already spoke about. I think Eddie bottled it because Eddie's a striker. I know Eddie wasn't taking that 5th pen. But Declan Rice,
I'm not mad at Eddie for bottling it, because if Eddie comes in and misses that penalty, he's done.
But that's also another reason why we signed Declan Rice. That character of I'm going to step up and take the pen.
Take it. Look, as he should. Declan Rice is going to take more pressure penalties than Eddie will in his career moving forward. Yeah. So start that now. But I just think that it was good to hear. It was good to see from the fans and the players. From the players more so that Arteta's been drilling them on this. That they were saying that we did pens pre-season. We finished the FA Cup. We finished the Emirates Cup with pens regardless of the score. In the MLS, we finished the game with penalties regardless of the score. Raya said we've been doing pens all season. Saka came on CBS and was like, I knew which way I was putting my pen yesterday. Like it's good to see and hear that this level of detail and dedication goes into it, because 100% to win big trophies, you're going to need to get not lucky, but you're going to need to get some luck in penalty shootouts, and you're going to need to have some sort of confidence. And the players need to be prepared. It can't be like, I haven't taken a penalty in 9 months. Type of situation.
And look, in extra time, I was sat there and I was thinking like, this is the moment now where you need your hero. You need someone to just come up with something special.
I said in the chat,
and win us the game. And it wasn't an outfield player. But David Raya, like he's just had a moment there with the Arsenal fans and the Emirates crowd, and where people may have been on this Ramsdale thing, on a Ramsdale fan, like, I'm anti David Raya, or David Raya is not that much better than Ramsdale, and all of this. And David Raya just had a moment there of like, this is why I was signed, this is why I was bought. Like, that conversation, that debate can just be fully put to bed.
Do you know what's funny? I'm looking at David Raya and I'm like, has he grown taller in the last?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he's just he's done enough.
The reach on those pens.
I think he, as you said, like he's just done enough. And I think the best thing about this David Raya thing is the timing of it all. Because now going into 10 games, the final 10 games, we're gonna need him to make some incredible saves. Yeah, or to just generally be on top of his game from now until the end of the season. So I'm happy he has that confidence, and he feels as if the fans and the team are behind him, and he has like a game he can point back to in the season and say, hey, look, this was my game. So I think the timing of it all, because you don't win a Premier League or any big trophy without a good keeper. And I need him to feel confident and comfortable in that number 1 spot, because it's him for sure. For at least until the end of the season.
And I mean, stark contrast between the Brentford game with Ramsdale in goal and Raya in goal for that Porto game. Again, I mentioned it before, in the crowd, it's just so much more calm, just so much more like the Ramsdale hesitation and everything is too much.
Did you see that photo of Mikel Arteta when he was like, I don't even know if he was honestly looking at Ramsdale,
but look, this definitely ain't going to be a Ramsdale bash.
No, it's not. But, and before we move on, I do want to give Porto their credit. I just think that they didn't play the most attractive football. That wasn't their job. They're trying to make it through in the Champions League versus a team that if they did try to come out and play, we would have killed them, especially at home. So they were tough. They made it like they were rigid. They were strong.
They did press, especially first half. Maybe.
It wasn't a low block.
High,
It wasn't like a stupid, dumb Newcastle type low block. Everybody's in the box type of thing. I think honestly, Porto were telling themselves that, hey, look, we've been in the Champions League more consistently than Arsenal have for the past however many years. And like, I don't think they had that. They had a level of fear / respect, but not a level of fear in terms of like, they're gonna, they're gonna turn us over.
Yeah.
I think they thought like we can actually hold our own in these competitions, and they've been in big teams before. And I just thought it was generally impressive to see, because they were I think they were a lot tougher than a lot of Arsenal fans thought.
And that is the Champions League quality. That is what you have. And if Porto had scored a goal, that probably would have been tie over.
Yeah, and they looked decent in transition on the break. That Pepe guy. They had
nice turns,
it could have been scary.
But that's where I have to shout out the whole back four for Arsenal. Obviously, David Raya got his props, but I have to give the whole back four, because in European knockout football,
don't give much away.
If you concede that goal and Porto can play the way they play for the rest of that game, we saw how hard it was to score the one goal we did score.
Yeah,
that's potentially tie over. So for us to be pushing the agenda, trying to get that goal, but also keep it solid. Ben White, Jakub Kiwior, Gabriel and Saliba, all flawless.
No, they've done their thing.
I saw a lot of love for Jakub Kiwior after the game.
Well deserved, man. Zinchenko came on and looked not shaky, but
Zinchenko,
I can only put that down to rust, hopefully.
The crowd were not feeling that Zinchenko sub. The thing with Zinchenko, is that I know he believes his hype.
Yeah, he definitely does.
I can see it in the way he plays. And to some extent,
he has to.
You should believe.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you are that guy.
But when it goes wrong, when he tries that bold pass and it doesn't come off, it looks ridiculous.
And the transition's gaping. Saliba's left 2v1. Gabriel's busting a gut to help out. Ben White's got to do a 70-yard sprint.
It looks, and because the worst thing about Zinchenko is there's almost always an easy pass on that he turns down to try a ridiculous round 3 corners through ball to get somebody away, and you're like,
but that's
his game. I'm like, when he came in, we were saying his caveat to Tierney, because Tierney would never play that ball, and that is how it is.
And that's why Arteta brought him on. Arteta's not telling him, come on and just play the safe passes. Arteta's telling him, look, we need to try and break these lot down, punch those passes in. But look, from now until the end of the season, in those home games, Zinchenko should play probably almost every one of them.
Bayern?
No, not Champions League. Not Champions League. I don't know how many minutes Zinchenko is going to get in the Champions League.
Sane on Zinchenko.
It should be Tomiyasu and Ben White. But Tomiyasu should play max 6 games from now to the end of the season. Max? Yeah. City away. Any Bayern Munich home, Bayern Munich away, Tottenham away.
He's just the big game specialist. What were they saying on FCM? Is the BGB.
Big game bully. Big game bully. Because I don't need Tomiyasu getting injured. Villa at home.
Yeah.
And I mean, the draw was obviously made after that. All teams know their path to the final if they're going to get there.
When did they start doing that? Is that always how it's been, or this is recent?
Yeah, no. I think it's been like that for a while.
Is it?
Yeah.
I just don't remember it being.
Well, we ain't really been there. we ain't really been watching like that. But we'll talk through obviously some of these ties. Real Madrid.
I think these are all good ties. I was going to say. I think from an Arsenal perspective,
the way Johnny Obi Mikel was smiling, he knew he did something.
I think Real Madrid, Manchester City. We spoke about Liverpool, Man City being in the Premier League blockbuster. In the Champions League, that has been the creme de la creme of
last year was just a bit of a mauling.
Last year was a bit of a mauling, but even still, do you remember at the Bernabeu, the KDB goal, the Vinicius goal? Like there've been moments of we had Vinicius versus Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker was talking about Vinicius tried to do rainbow flick over. Like I think for the past 3-5 years, however many times they've got each other, that has been like the pinnacle of football. Like the 2 best teams, or the 2 teams with the most amount of quality on the pitch going at each other. It like City did kind of run away with it towards the end of last year. I think Madrid just capitulated at the Etihad, but I cannot wait for that. I hate that it's on at the same time as the Arsenal game.
Yeah.
But
I mean that's going to be a completely different game this year. Jude, Camavinga in midfield, not a left back.
Yeah,
Tchouaméni, Fede. Like Real Madrid are at least going to have the PMP to compete.
Yeah.
Like Rodri and KDB are just gonna run over them.
I was telling my friend that I think it's a weakened City team. Like I don't think.
Yeah.
I think losing, like in particular for the Champions League, like in the Premier League, they're as strong as they've been for the last 3, 4, 5 years, whatever. But particularly in the Champions League, like losing people like Gundogan, losing people like Mahrez. Yeah, obviously we don't know what form Jack Wilshere is going to come back into the team with, but I think that is particularly going to be a detriment to Man City because those guys have such cool heads in those moments. And if you look at the semi-finals and sort of finals in the years gone past, Gundogan and Mahrez have been with Bernardo Silva have been the ones to step up. So I think it's going to be really interesting because if Alvarez has kind of a meaty game at the Bernabeu, like there's no room for meaty games. Doku, if he's not really getting the best of Carvajal or whatever, like, there's no room.
You know Carvalho's going to be on job. You know Carvalho's going to be on job.
You know, if you're not getting the best out or getting the best,
Rudiger on Haaland.
That's what I'm saying. Rudiger's gonna bring back every ounce of dark
Militao
arts.
might be back.
Yeah, it could be super
it's
long.
Gonna be a proper.
And that, as you said, that midfield battle, Rodri, you got Cruz, you got Tchouaméni, you've got like who's gonna actually grab a hold of that ball, calm things down, get it step in. And then obviously Vinny, he's got something out of nowhere. Rodrigo as well. I know Rodrigo is like always playing second fiddle to Vinny in terms of like Starboy hype. But in these quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals, Champions League and big games, Rodrigo is always on the score sheet.
Cash money.
Yeah, he's always on the score sheet.
Well, 2 years ago when Madrid beat them,
he was fake.
It was Rodrigo, innit?
He was fake.
Like 2 goals in like 3 minutes or so.
So we've seen Ake make mistakes recently. We've seen Guardiola been dropped. Like if these guys aren't at that level, we get. And obviously, look, Pep is going to tell them you'll get found out. But like, so love that tie. Even though it's maybe potentially come too soon, it's the best. Yeah,
but I'm glad Man City got Real Madrid.
Yeah, and I'm also happy it's going to be an emotionally taxing game, regardless of whoever wins. It's going to be so taxing.
100%. Arsenal versus Bayern.
Yeah.
Spoke about this a bit off air, but in some ways, I think that's a better tie for Arsenal. Not saying that Arsenal are going to go through or like it's still Bayern Munich. In some ways, I think that might be a better matchup than Porto or than like an Atletico.
That's what I was thinking. As soon as we got done with Porto, I was like, don't give me a team that wants to do this.
Because they always saying that the styles make fights kind of thing.
I didn't want to see Atletico. Savage. Jimenez,
second leg at the Wanda Metropolitano. Like, I mean, the Pies goal.
Yeah, crazy.
That game against Inter, what a goal. But and I think even having the second leg away from home, in some ways could benefit Arsenal because the emphasis and the pressure is going to be on Bayern to come out and attack.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously, like with Porto coming to the Emirates, they knew that they could just kind of sit back and kind of defend their lead. But yeah, man, just when I thought that there was no more Harry Kane at the Emirates,
here he is.
The Champions League say no. Harry Kane's coming back to North London.
Look, I agree with your point that I was more interested in getting a team that would play football because I think we could do really well versus a team that plays football. And I was just telling you off air, like I think if Bayern Munich don't score at our leg and all the pressure is on them to score away from home, Martinelli, Saka, these guys in transition, Jorginho has to play that game. Like
Thomas Partey might be fully fit by then.
Could be. I think it's a good tie, and I think it's more than a good tie. I think honestly, it's like the juiciest tie.
Yeah.
Because it's with the Champions League. Yeah, it's so easy to buy in with the marketing narratives. Like when people are talking about revenge, I can hear it.
Yeah.
I don't want to buy into it. Like that was 10 years ago, or however long ago it was. When we was losing, it's a different team, different Arsenal, different Bayern Munich, all this kind of stuff. But an opportunity.
Well, Thomas Muller thinks it's the same.
Thomas
Muller thinks he's coming to buck Yaya Sinogo and them, man.
He does, and I would love, man. I would love to put a knife into those German hearts. Take out the biggest team in Germany. Yeah. I would love, and the great thing about it as well is they probably won't win the league this year. But if we knock them out before that happens, we will knock them out before that happens. It's like you can still say it to them. You know.
Yeah.
But on the Harry Kane thing, I was just telling you off air, and I'll say it on air. This storyline this saga that is gonna go on, it's gonna be monumental. We already spoke on this podcast a lot about how Harry Kane needs to win a trophy this year, and how if Harry Kane doesn't win the Bundesliga this year or win a big trophy this year, like, it doesn't matter what he does next year, because you came here to Bayern thinking specifically it was going to be easy. Like, you thought he was just going to sort of walk
that
your
was
way.
guaranteed.
Yeah, legit. You thought that was the guaranteed, like the banker.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. And you moved to Bayern Munich as well, specifically to be a part of latter stage Champions League runs. You said that you was a man with enough quality to sort of decide these tournaments, and I agree with that on a base level. But if Arsenal bounce you out, if Arsenal bop you out of the Champions League and you finish 8, 10, 7 points behind Bayern Leverkusen with nothing to your name, it's going to be tough to recover from that, bro.
Yep. Yeah,
and like we won't let you forget it.
The biggest thing is, even if Harry Kane goes on, wins it next year, like Bayern have won it 10 years in a row. They can't sign big Harry Kane
for 100 mil
and not win it.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, if we, as you say, he probably get his customary penalty in some Champions League bullshit. But if we bop Harry Kane out of this tournament, and we Arsenal take a big scalp, like a Bayern Munich, I think it is that, because I think honestly the Champions League is the last question mark. Obviously, we haven't won the Premier League. It's not like we don't have questions in the Premier League, but like, I, as an Arsenal fan, still have that, like, can we hang with these big boys in the Champions League, just because it's been so long since we've seen it and done it? I know the team has the quality to do it, but do they have the mentality to play versus Goretzka, play versus Kimmich, and actually do your stuff?
Even just the experience, really, innit? I think that's going to be Arsenal's eventual downfall in the Champions League. I'm not expecting Arsenal to win the Champions League, right?
Yeah.
I think that experience of knowing how to play in Europe, like, I mean, these next two ties, like, even if we get to the semi-final, are going to be completely different to the round of 16 tie.
Yeah.
And in some ways, because we don't have the second leg at the Emirates.
Who do you think more pressure is on?
What, out of Arsenal and Bayern? Bayern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree as well.
Yeah.
Tuchel's got pressure.
Yeah.
German Giants got pressure.
I mean, it really don't look like they're going to win the league.
Yeah. The history
so this is what all they've got left.
Yeah. All eggs in this basket.
And that's part of the reason why I mentioned the thing about Mikel kind of meeting his criteria, because had this been around a 16 tie, I might have said, "Oh, there's more pressure on Arsenal because we need to break this curse. We need to go."
Yeah.
But now Mikel's done that. It's almost as if, and I'm not saying this because I think we've got a really good chance against Bayern Munich, but it's almost as if we do get knocked out and we get knocked out by 1 goal or like 2 goals,
it's a close game.
It's like, well, we made Champions League quarterfinals.
Yeah.
We haven't done that for 14 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. And I think I said this off air, and I'll say this again, man. If Bayern come to the Emirates and they are not prepared,
it could be a very long day.
It could get long.
It could be a very. I think the thing that works in our favor is we have so many debutants at this stage in the Champions League that, like, I know Martinelli wants to make a name for him. Like, I know Saka wants to make I know Jesus wants to.
Bro, can you imagine like a Martinelli goal in the Allianz?
Yeah. I think that's a banker. But like, I think there is a lot of these young dogs that want to make a name for themselves in this competition. This is why you get into football, to play the biggest games, to decide the biggest games. And as you're saying, to your point, if Bayern don't come prepared to face that sort of hunger, if Thomas Muller thinks he's just going to play 2-touch football, and Shkodran Mustafi's going to work for him, then
the intensity, if they don't come with the right intensity, if they give Arsenal time on the ball,
it's not Coquelin letting Robin cut in
a fully fit Thomas Partey. They give a bad pass to Kimmich, and Declan Rice goes like one knee to slide tackle, wins it off him. Look.
It's going to be a super juicy time. I genuinely can't wait. And I said this, like,
if Alphonso Davies only wants to go that way and doesn't want to stop Saka coming this way.
We said with Sane as well, same thing. Yeah. Sane's not going to help double up on Martinelli.
Yep.
He's going to rinse him.
But the one thing that Bayern Munich probably have over us,
they got the experience and the nous, man. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, they have that, but also just in terms of like the players on the pitch and stuff, they've got the X factor.
Yeah.
They've got players.
Kane, Sane,
Musiala. Kane and Musiala.
Yeah, could do it.
Two that I'm looking at that, like, Arsenal could do everything right. They could
Yeah.
be 2-0 up in the Emirates in the first leg, and Musiala could one nutmeg, a body fade, a perfect slip ball to
100%.
Harry Kane, and Harry Kane buries it,
100%.
and then it's 2-1 going to the Allianz. It's a different game.
I can 100% see that.
So
and you have to be switched on for 90, minutes,
180 minutes.
Yeah,
But across both sides.
Like 100%, I could see that.
And that's the one thing, because Bayern Munich's defensive midfield, I think Arsenal can get at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, those X factor players, those like just one moment to change the game.
Oh, I genuinely can't wait, man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man.
I genuinely can't wait
to it. And I think that's going to be another special night at the Emirates, man. There's going to be no Bayern Munich fans.
No Bayern Munich fans.
And Arsenal are going to get to fill the away end with Arsenal fans.
Yeah. Clutch.
So you should try and get a ticket, man.
No, I should. I actually probably will, man. I'll go see one of these games.
Because and I think it should be easier to get a ticket, obviously, with the extra allocation and stuff. But yeah, man, I can't wait for that. Atletico Dortmund.
Yeah, that's it's a good tie, but it's the least.
I think
interesting
Atletico got that. I think Atletico
you think?
got that.
Yeah. I like. Yeah.
And PSG Barca.
I think that is interesting.
I watched Barca Atletico yesterday.
Yeah. João Felix.
Barca. Lewandowski.
Firmino. Yeah. I saw Gundo.
Unbelievable.
Goal. I saw.
The way Gundo can operate as a 6 in La Liga.
I swear. I saw Gundo with 6. I saw Gundo with like time and space. I knew Gundo obviously is 30.
Yeah.
But Gundo had this pass on his left foot, just a clipped ball 25, 35 yards out wide, and he made it look effortless. And I was like, oh, Gundo with time and space on either foot, he's gonna murder you.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna kill you.
Yeah.
But I just think that's gonna be interesting because I've seen Mbappe knock out Barca with Messi.
Those 2 Mbappe goals.
Yeah, he's got a hat-trick on the
weekend.
Did you see his one of the goals on the weekend? Like the 25, 30 yard or I think that's gonna be a really interesting tie because I've seen Mbappe knock out Barcelona with Messi and some big dogs.
Yeah.
And it's not the same Barca team, it's not the same PSG team. And I think it could be one of those. I think Mbappe can just like star power his way through that side.
My issue with PSG, there's always my issue with PSG every year, is
mentality.
They never strike me as a team that works hard enough to win the Champions League.
No, I agree with you. I agree with that.
And I look at Barcelona, and maybe similar to the Arsenal Bayern Munich thing. I think Barcelona are a better team, but PSG have those X factor players, those guys who can change it in one moment.
Yeah, but that's what I think makes it interesting because I agree with you. Barcelona, Xavi's going to get the system right. He's gonna get the players to play the right stuff. But if Cancelo gets beat, if Araujo's not there by a second, you're literally talking about the most devastating footballer on the planet. And in these moments in the Champions League, in the World Cup, these kind of like latter stage knockout tournament stuff, bro.
Yeah, there's no one bigger.
He's him.
Yeah,
he has every shot.
Well, other than Marcus Rashford, there's no one bigger.
But that BGV stuff kills me. But I think it's going to be interesting that side as well. Not obviously as interesting as the Arsenal City side.
An Atletico Barca semi would be so.
Did you see how they were? Because you say you watched the game. You see how they were shitting on João Felix.
Yeah.
All the fans were like stomping on his plaque or whatever before the game. And I think that would be a good side. Who doesn't?
And João Felix hasn't played much for Barca.
No, he hasn't.
They were even saying the pundits that they had on the game. They asked Xavi,
what's going on?
Felix back in for this game, and Xavi was like, "This is João Felix's game." And it's just that
he scored home and away versus him.
Yeah, and I saw this thing that was like 4 of the managers in the Champions League quarterfinals are ex-Barcelona players.
Yeah,
in Mikel Arteta, Luis Enrique, Guardiola, and Xavi. And look, a lot was said about Xavi, but he's got that Barca team playing.
This is it, man. Champions League latter stages. This is it.
I think they have a real chance of getting to the final.
I think PSG have a real chance Because I generally like. I don't think they're going to win it.
I don't like saying PSG have a real chance.
Mbappe
has a real.
Mbappe
chance.
has a real chance
because Marquinhos and Nuno Mendes and
Fabian Ruiz,
Barcola, all of them, man.
Colomwani,
100 mil. Gonzalo Ramos, all of them, man.
PSG do have some stinking business.
Mbappe's just gonna put them on their back.
Yeah, legit, but he can.
Exactly, he can. But yeah, man. I mean, obviously, we didn't say much about the Atletico Dortmund, but best believe that's gonna be a good tie.
I was gonna say Simeone in games that you're not involved with him. He's like interesting to watch. You know, like it's kind of crazy.
Boy, am I so glad we didn't get Atletico.
I can't tell you, but it is crazy to see. What I was seeing somebody saying that Simeone is who people think Klopp is. That's what the streets were saying. But I only say that.
Hey, you're gonna get your time on Klopp.
No, yeah, you're gonna get some. But no, I just think that I respect it to a degree for sure. But it's just fascinating to see how Simeone can almost forge his personality into a football team as big as Atletico Madrid, and everybody just accept it and be like, yeah, this is us.
Yeah, and I was actually talking to Arman a bit about it, and he was like professing his love for Simeone.
Is it?
And what Atletico were before Simeone, and obviously what they've become since Simeone's been there. The league titles, the Champions League campaigns. He is an unbelievable manager. What he gets out of that Atletico Madrid, the way he's rebuilt that team so many times. They're never spending what Real spend or Barca spend, or they're picking up players from here, there, and everywhere. Rodrigo De Paul's in there, Depay, Griezmann's off the Morata, Savic, Llorente, Renan Lodi, all these kind of guys. But yeah, man, I think those quarterfinals are gonna be good.
Apparently, he hasn't lost a quarterfinal at home, or he hasn't lost like a
knockout tie at home.
For crazy.
Which another reason why I didn't want to play them. Because also that Simeone Arteta touchline beef. Like, it was cool with because we bucked them out of the tournament. But I don't know if we want to be doing that beef with Simeone, and I'll tell you, we're still a novice in this Champions League game. Let's not be taking us Simeone on the touchline.
Yeah, I hear that.
But yeah, one person who has proved that they can compete on the Champions League stage, he's been disrespected by being compared to guys like Pedro Porro and Malo Gusto. For me,
who are nice, by the way.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, exactly.
They are nice.
Full stop.
They are nice.
Yeah.
Imagine when you said Kovacic is nice, and I was like, yeah, but that's all he is. That's all Kovacic is nice.
Full stop in the sentence.
And then you actually said that Kovacic was Kaká in the first phase.
Real Madrid Kovacic.
There's no justifying.
Real Madrid Kovacic. I'm telling you, his long busting
in the first phase.
His long busting runs from deep, identical.
Well, no, we're not going to judge that.
Fans at home, do your Googles.
But for me, second year in a row that Ben White's been the best right back in the league, and he's apparently told Southgate to fuck off. The England team was selected, and Gareth Southgate. And to be fair to Gareth Southgate, he couldn't keep doing this thing of just not bringing up Ben White's name.
Why is not being selected?
Because everyone knows Ben White's
playing the best football.
Team, right? Whether it's centre back or right back. I mean, bro, the idea of seeing Ben White and John Stones
as a partnership,
that could be so serious, man.
But
Ben White's obviously said that he doesn't want to be considered for selection.
To be fair, I think the thing with Ben White is he is looking at the situation being like, I've got crunch time games coming up, and I don't really want to be on some cannon for the selection just to train with the lads to get 5 minutes versus whoever it is, the Falkland Islands or whoever England's playing in a friendly. I hear it from that perspective, on the sense of like, he's gonna call you up just to call you up, just to give you a bib to train with the lads for a little bit, just to play Kyle Walker for 80 minutes, and then to play whoever else it's gonna be. But then I also do think that there is an element of England just never getting it right. Like I can always trust England's selection. And look, there's so many good English footballers that, of course, some players are going to be left out that you would argue deserve to be in. But I just I've never in my years of living seen England get a full 23-man squad right, tournament after tournament after tournament after tournament. And I think that is probably what a lot of Ben White's frustration with Southgate comes into. I think he's just like, yo, I was there. I saw what you guys were doing to me. You had no intentions of playing me in that World Cup or Euros or whatever else it was. And I think that's probably why he got into it with Gareth Southgate at the time, or the assistant coach, or whatever. Whatever the rumor is. I think it's just like, yo,
Well, what do you make of like Harry Redknapp and all these guys coming out and saying, "Oh, it's disrespectful. He should never get picked for England. He should never play for England."
I think they've got to say that, and it's Harry Redknapp. Like, what is he? He's not going to encourage the decision. But I think as well it would be different if it wasn't international friendlies. If it was qualifying games and England had something to play. England had something to play for, and they needed points to get through or something. I might hear the disrespect in that.
Yeah.
But if we're just talking about friendlies with big important games to go, I think really Ben White has probably just told himself and told Arteta, I'm not going to play under the Southgate tenure.
Yeah.
And like, if the next guy comes and he wants to select me, because Ben White specifically said, I'm not available for selection at this time.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm not available for selection, full stop. It'd be crazy for a guy like named Benjamin White.
He got Edu to tell them.
Yeah, so Edu asked him, do you want me to tell him? Yeah. And Edu, Ben was like, yeah, but it'd be crazy for a guy like named Benjamin White to be like, yeah, I don't want to play for England.
Yeah. And look, I don't think it was coincidence that Arsenal dropped that contract video on that day and announced Ben White's contract on that day. We know Arsenal have been doing this for so long, even from back in the days when there was a 4-0 slapping at Anfield.
Yeah. Contract extension.
Monday was, so Alexis Sanchez contract extension, or Mesut Ozil look who's back on the training ground, or all of this stuff. We know Arsenal are good at that stuff.
Yeah. We've signed Pepe, but we're not going to announce it.
Yeah. Until we lose a big game, and then we'll tell you that we've signed him. Mesut Ozil, when we actually signed him, we lost 3-1 at home to Aston Villa.
Yeah.
And then Arsene Wenger, the fans should be excited.
Right? I miss Arsene's mind games, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. But I mean, look, at the end of the day, like, sometimes people forget that because they are Premier League footballers, they are professional footballers, that they are also humans, right? Like, and we from what we know about Ben White, he doesn't love football or watching football or all that. He obviously loves playing football, but he's not like as into football as maybe someone else, like a Declan Rice maybe is, right?
Yeah.
And
he's not watching Premier League years, that's for sure.
Yeah. And Ben White's always been a guy who has said that if he's not playing, then he's not really enjoying it, right? And he's probably looking at this 2-week break and thinking, he can do his rehab. He can chill at home.
Do you know what it is? He's looking at the 2-week break. Well, sorry, he's looking at.
What's the point of him going and just sitting on the bench?
It's not even that. It's him going, sitting on the bench, and having to do all the media. How do you feel, Ben White? Your second call up with the lads. Are you getting used to things here? And all of that stuff you have to do. You know how? Do you remember every tournament
where the beer?
Come on. And I do want to say that I think it's interesting because Ben White could have easily have used the Gabriel. I've got a niggle. I don't know if I can. Like, I feel like he's almost done it to make a point to say that I'm not playing for England, as opposed to just saying Ben White could have come out and said, I've been playing with a knee injury for the past 5 games. Like I need these two game weeks off or whatever it's going to be to rest and recover. And England would have taken that, I think, at face value.
But he obviously doesn't have any plans.
Yeah, he's obviously just does Southgate specifically.
I think he's booked his holiday to Ibiza in the summer.
And he deserves it. I'm not gonna come back refreshed. I love we spoke about this earlier about being in the position that we're in. I love the fact that we're in a very good position, taking 2 weeks off and then coming back with 10 games to go in the Prem, and potentially like 14 games to go altogether.
Yeah.
Being like, this is almost a new season. Obviously, everything matters at this stage, but everybody's coming back fully fit, hopefully, and it feels as if it's like a new season is beginning. Not a new season, but like a different segment. It's like the fourth quarter. It's like literally like the end of the third has just happened. 2-minute break, start of the fourth. All business from here.
We need Jason Tatum in that fourth quarter.
Kyrie maybe.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the other thing is that, like, Ben White is. It's not like he's Carl Walker-Peters.
Yeah.
Like, and I think Ben White knows the level he's playing at and how good he is. Champions League football, Premier League football. There should be a starting place for him in that England team that he's probably not going to get.
But that's why I say a thing
he's
about.
He's going to have to go there and see Harry Maguire starting.
That's what I was going to say about the England selection thing is. I think that also probably pisses off a lot of people. It's like, look, Henderson's going to get in there and start.
Yep.
You know, so it's not about can we find a system to incorporate the best English players to get the best system possible to play the best players in the system. It's like the manager's got his favorites. How can we get his favorites into a system that doesn't sort of make them out to be liabilities? Because I still, and I know England fans always say, "Oh, but Maguire turns up for the tournaments." I still don't believe that Maguire is England's best centre back. And like,
no,
I can't.
Of course not.
But that's what they'll tell you.
No, it's John Stones.
But they'll say that Maguire, he turns up in tournaments like he's every time for England. I don't know what it is. He just seems to be the best guy on the pitch.
It's the same with the Pickford thing.
Yeah. It's exactly the same thing.
We all know that last year Aaron Ramsdale should have been starting.
But look, if a manager's got his favourites, it must be annoying. Yeah. And this is not like club football where it's like, I don't know. You know, there is a lot more change that can happen. There's a lot more ways to prove that you're better than so and so.
Yeah.
If Henderson can go to Saudi for 6 months, stink it up at Ajax, and then start for England, there's nothing you can do to change that.
Yep.
You know, it's not about form. It's just...
And especially if guys like Steve Holland allegedly have accused Ben White of not being a team player and
sounds crazy.
And only wanting to be around the team if he's playing and if he's starting and whatever. Of course, Ben White's not really going to want to go back there.
Yeah.
Like the reports in the Athletic that he found it a bit difficult to settle into life at England and whatnot. But look, for all I care about, Ben White, just focus on what you do at Arsenal. The Arsenal fans love you. I don't need to see you ever play for England. Yeah. That won't change my thoughts at all. In some ways, I prefer it.
Yeah, take your rest, man. We're going to need you.
And when England get a serious manager and it's time to win the World Cup,
it's go time.
Ben White, Declan Rice, Bukayo Saka, Reece Nelson,
Smith Rowe,
lead us to glory.
Yeah, I hear you.
And we'll remember 2026 when Arsenal won the World Cup. But there was FA Cup football this weekend.
Yes. Let's get into it.
And the magic of the cup.
That's, that sentence is banded around a lot. It's banded around every FA Cup week.
You've been a bit of a hater of the FA Cup in the past.
I mainly because I like many football fans, I would assume, I actually only like FA Cup when my team is in it. Yeah. And like I've enjoyed this week's fixtures. But that expression, the magic of the FA Cup, you hear it every game week, but this is the game week when I generally think that it's worth mentioning the magic of the FA Cup.
This was one of the best set of Man City aside.
Yeah.
Because Man City will always just make it dull and boring.
Yeah.
And Newcastle went there with a 5 at the back. I was like, this is going to be a long one.
Your boy Eddie. Eddie Howe.
He's the Geordies guy. Anthony Gordon, by the way, I was hearing he's out for 5 to 6 months.
Did he play?
Injury. He started. He started up top with Isa.
Is that Eddie Howe's pep tactics? Is that?
But Man United versus Liverpool.
Yeah, let's speak on it, man.
We have to talk about it. Well, quickly before, shout out Coventry.
Gave Chelsea.
I did want Wolves to win. Gary O'Neill, that's our guy. And I thought if Wolves get to the semi-final, they could be the team that could actually win this.
Could upset things
in a one-off game against Man City. We've already seen them beat them this year.
Wolves get past United.
Yeah. Light work. But I mean, Coventry might get past United. Yeah. I don't think my United fans should be gassed.
I can't believe Wolves lost that game when the
way they lost it.
Yeah,
well.
I know.
Do you see? When Bat was like, anyone watching Wolves Coventry, and everyone was like, "Is everything okay?"
I feel it on paper at 12:45. Wolves Coventry kickoff sounds awful. But
what a game!
What a game! What a game. But yeah.
Ellis Sims.
Yeah.
Haji Wright stepping up.
When you guys
what a goal by Haji Wright, by the way.
You were like, oh, Sims is drunk. And then Batter's like,
yeah.
oh, he's sobered up in this.
Oh, man. Some of the sitters that Sims missed was great. Ray and Nate Nouri.
Yeah.
Kind of announcing himself.
Player, man. I was saying on the chat, because I know we can't do too much on this game, but I was just saying that I'm so surprised that he's playing as a left back. Like, I know he's been technically tidy and nice for a couple of seasons. I know he's been injured and what. But you wouldn't think Wolves have too many players in their squad that have his ability.
Yeah.
So to put that all the way back there and ask him to defend one-on-ones.
Well, I think more recently, Gary O'Neill's been playing him as like a winger.
Yeah.
And in the second half of that game, it seemed like he was like a number 10.
Yeah.
Just drifting everywhere. But yeah, man, that was some finish from Haji Wright.
The
way he bent that round into the far corner.
Keeper had no chance.
Unbelievable scene. So yeah, shout out Coventry.
But yeah.
And obviously Chelsea did their thing and got the job done.
Well,
everyone's talking about
Raheem
Noni Madueke's goal, but I think Dizazi scored the best goal in that game. Armand was like, that might be the best goal I've seen live. I thought he was talking about Dizazi's goal. That was an unbelievable finish.
Chelsea, Chelsea make everything look like the hardest.
They are
job.
that team, innit? They are that team.
They make it look like the hardest job in the world.
Yeah.
To
Down
get
to 10 men.
I was seeing Wout Fass. I turned on the TV and saw Wout Fass in there.
Do you see that thing of Nico Jackson ripping it and Bat put in the chat? All of us could rip Vestergaard.
I couldn't believe it when I turned on my TV and I'm seeing 2-2 and Wout Fass is dribbling the ball out from the back and I'm thinking, what are we doing? How are you putting a sword to this team?
This own goal merchant. But yeah, obviously Leicester went down to 10 men. Steffi Mavididi.
Yeah. Baller.
Very good player.
Yeah.
Very, very good player. I saw they say on FCM, because they were bigging up Gusto a bit, but on the goal, Mavididi twisted him up.
Yeah.
And Maya was like, Mavididi was like, hey, forget about Prem. I saw you for Lyon versus Montpellier. I had no idea that he was a HLM product. I had absolutely no idea. So yeah, shout out Mavididi. I think if Leicester come up, he's definitely one that's going to be in my FPL because I think he
could do something.
Yeah, he's an end product guy.
Yeah.
But Cole Palmer.
Yeah. The difference.
Where would Chelsea be without Cole Palmer?
It's crazy.
That guy, and people are saying like it's his first full season in like professional football and stuff. And that's somewhat true, man, because like
he's been doing drips and drabs.
It's not like he was making the City bench every week last year.
No, he wasn't.
So for him to now be starting every week at a club like Chelsea and doing what he's doing.
Who was the pundit that asked him?
Tim
Sherwood. What an idiot.
Yeah.
But I
when he was like,
this is
you just need to get some good players around.
Yeah, what's he meant to say? Was he? I love the other commentator. All right, perfect. So trying to move the interview on. But no, I think we said this when we gave Cole Palmer his flowers about leaving Manchester City and being brave and taking that step. This is just the fruits of his labor, man.
And just saying, I want to play every week.
Yeah, and I wonder what Pep thinks. I don't think Pep is like, rats. I think Pep always knew he had this kind of player. Yeah. He just can't in that system start him. Just think that I wonder what Pep does. Pep's message him and say like, hey, look, because Cole Palmer went into the office and said, I need minutes, and Pep was like, he didn't say you're not gonna get them. He just said that, it's you have to work for patient. Them. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. But I love what Cole Palmer is doing. Unfortunately, it's at Chelsea, but I love what he's doing. Full stop, man. Yeah. He is.
I think that's 25 GA this season.
Yeah, he's announcing himself as like one of those guys that one, every Premier League team needs to watch out for, and then two, he's like, I'm not saying that he should be in Saka and Foden conversations and but he's definitely one of those guys. We just spoke about the England national team where it's like, yo, this is the kind of guy that should be making selections soon.
Yeah.
And
he got called up.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Nice. No, but he's definitely the kind of guy that should be making selections soon. And
I think he has to go to the Euros.
Cole Palmer's imagination and creativity, and as well as his ability to always be at the end of things for Chelsea, is incredible this season. I actually don't even know what else to say about it. Like, he's been the most consistent player in the most inconsistent team.
Yeah. And well, he's been one of the most consistent players in the league.
Yeah.
In one of the most inconsistent teams. But lastly, we do have to touch on it. Raheem Sterling.
Stinker.
Had a bit of a horror show. Took the penalty off Cole Palmer and missed it. An awful pen. Straight down the middle, easy save.
It's almost as if he took the ball off him and didn't know which corner he wanted to go in.
Yeah. Like Raheem, you're not even a penalty taker.
You're not a free kick taker either, to be fair.
That free kick is so funny.
I love the fan footage when they're in the crowd. But I honestly, I don't know what to say. I think,
and we know what Chelsea fans are like.
Yeah. I think the thing, I can put a finger on it with Raheem. Raheem, when your team is winning, 100% contributes to your success.
Yeah.
He's a great player to have. If you're winning football games, if you win 3 out of 4 games, Raheem has 2 goals, 2 assists. If you draw 4 games, if you lose 2, draw 1, win 1, you the results match Raheem's output and ability.
Yeah.
He is so up and down.
Yeah.
He is not the kind of guy that you necessarily want at this stage. If you're in the mud, backs against the wall, we need to hang our hat with somebody to put in a performance. Like, I just feel like, he is as inconsistent as the Chelsea team. When shouldn't be an excuse for him. Like, you're 27, you've won 4 or 5 Premier Leagues, you're 28 or whatever. You've won 4.
He's 29,
You've won 4 Premier Leagues. Like, the amount of games you have.
He's meant to be the senior figure.
He has more games in the Premier League than Noni and Cole Palmer and Jackson and all of those guys put together. So there isn't an excuse of your performance level is up and down the way theirs is up and down. You should be having a banker week in, week out of like, we can count on Raheem to create 2 good chances, finish 1, something like that. So, and I like Raheem. I've said it many times. I like Raheem. I think he's a very good player.
Nick was on to you.
Yeah. I still think Raheem is a very good player, and he's like,
right. Raheem Sterling's had a great career.
Had a great career, but I think now he's showing that if the football team isn't playing winning football, he's a tough guy to hang your hat on.
What Raheem Sterling is he is a great piece, potentially world-class piece of a world-class team. But he's not a world-class individual in a distinctly average team.
He's not Alexis Sanchez in it.
Eden Hazard, Mo Salah.
Exactly.
He's not that.
He's not that.
Yeah.
He's not that. Because those guys will chips are down, team is not looking the best.
I'd put Bukayo Saka in that category, because Bukayo Saka's played in some bad Arsenal teams. He's played in some Arsenal teams that are just starting to like be on the rise, and he's put up his figures. He's putting up his stats,
put the team in his back,
and
no, I agree with you, and it's sad to sort of see this. See Raheem Sterling. I'm not saying anything like his career is petering out. He's only 29. Like, Chelsea could get a better manager. They could put some results together, and we could see a different Raheem Sterling. But it's just because when he did join Chelsea, I thought he was going to be the signing of the summer that year. I thought, man, Chelsea have got great talent at the right age for a decent price. But I cannot co-sign or even stick behind any of the performances. It's the 1v1 misses and you should square it, but you still shoot and you don't hit the target, or you hit one defender in the goal. It's like, yo, bro, you're suffering down there. Like, these chances can't be missed.
Yeah, but I think he's also just kind of in that moment where he's taking pens off Cole Palmer and missing them.
Yeah. And that's
like, don't worry about the pens, man. That's not your game. Just let Cole take them.
Not imposter syndrome, but do you think he's suffering a little bit from the fact that it's becoming Cole Palmer's team, and it should be his? It should be Raheem Sterling and the boys and what they can do on the weekend. But do you think he's suffering from a bit of like, they're bigging up Cole, they're bigging up Gusto now?
I mean, what Cole Palmer's doing is what Raheem Sterling
should be doing,
right?
100.
I saw something that Cole Palmer already has more GA for Chelsea than Raheem Sterling. Like, but
that's crazy.
But, like I said, Raheem Sterling's 29, turning 30 this year. He shouldn't be worried about Cole Palmer being the guy.
Yeah.
Like, he should just be thinking, Cole Palmer can be the guy, and I'll join him. And bro, Sterling was putting up the numbers that Sterling has been putting up, and they've got Cole Palmer doing that.
Yeah, they'd be 2 points behind United.
Yeah, bro. They'd be in a serious race for probably Champions League football.
Yeah.
But no, we'll move it on. To Man United versus Liverpool. Magic of the Cup, Magic of the FA Cup, one of the best cup ties I've seen.
Yeah, definitely.
It was an absolutely brilliant game. One of those games where you absolutely hate to be on the wrong end of it. But you'd absolutely, like, if that was an Arsenal Tottenham FA Cup quarterfinal, and Martinelli puts that in at the end, unbelievable scenes to be on the right side of that. But the Jurgen Klopp farewell tour stopped off at Old Trafford, and Eric Ten Hag bounced them out of there.
You know, it's funny because it felt before the game like it was a formality. Yeah. Like the way Liverpool fans were talking, you know.
I thought United would win that game.
I didn't think that would. I honestly I couldn't call it. I favoured Liverpool just for sort of recent history's sake, but I didn't think it was going to be a blowout the way people were saying. Like Liverpool fans were talking like, oh yeah, we don't lose OT anymore. Like we you know, we go to OT and we get the job done every time. And I didn't think it was going to be that. Yeah, I thought United might have something for them. And I've got to say, last week I gave ETH a lot of credit.
Yeah,
and I'm here to do the same thing again. And it's not because I think he's some sort of brilliant manager, and I just think that it's incredible that he can worm results out of what he actually is putting out there on the pitch.
Bruno centre back
and how they're playing. Maguire up front. Back. Yeah, Anthony at left back. McTominay started and like he played well. McTominay.
Scotty too hotty.
Yeah. He played well, but
set the tone, bag the goal.
Putting McTominay, Kobe Mainoo, and Bruno Fernandes in the midfield versus Liverpool should lose you that game.
Yep.
You know, so I give Eric Ten Hag a lot of credit because I've given him so many punches throughout the season for being a poor manager and this being like the worst United team ever in X, Y, and Z. But we're here in mid-March, and he has a top 4 race that he's somewhat a part of, and he's in an FA Cup semi-final.
Yep.
You know, and you've said it before, like the ceiling that United don't go below, or sorry, the floor that United don't go below. But I do think that Ten Hag deserves some credit because even still in that game, he wanted to win that football match. That whole Maguire up front, Bruno Fernandes at CB, taking on, as he said, bringing on 4 Amad Diallo, bringing on 4 attackers, all that kind of stuff. I think it was the right message to send out there to the players on the pitch of like, yo, this game is here for us, and like we're not gonna just let Liverpool, because I thought that Harvey Elliott goal, that, you know,
I mean, for me, Ten Hag is one of the worst managers in the Premier League.
100. I would agree with you, but I do think he deserves his credit because there's a lot of terrible managers who aren't in Chelsea. Pochettino,
sure. Wembley again.
Whoa. Come on.
Twice this year.
Come on. He's
getting an MVP from me.
No.
Taking his Chelsea team to Wembley twice.
No.
2 different competitions, man. What more Tottenham fans would kill for
top
that.
4 race.
If Andrew taken them to
top
Wembley
5 race. Like,
but the reason I say that about Ten Hag is because that second half was typical Eric Ten Hag Man United. Right, they've played fairly well in the first half, but they've gone in 2-1 down.
That was their best half
from football. Probably all season.
Yeah,
but they've gone in 2-1 down. In the second half, they're just sloppy. They're off it. They're not fighting. They're not trying to get the ball back.
I thought they thought the game was lost.
Passing it around for fun. I was watching it and I was like, yo, United are fucking shit, man. Like, come on, man. Go and win the ball back. Go and do something. And had that been the days of Salah, Firmino, Mane, that would have been 5-6-1.
Yeah.
Right.
Liverpool were wasting chances.
Gakpo on a 5v2, Nunez on a 5v2, Harvey Elliott. These aren't the guys that we saw before at Liverpool. And Liverpool should have been out of sight. So, in my opinion, Liverpool lost that game more than Man United won that game.
Yeah.
But having said that, I could not see where the goal was coming from. United weren't having any shots. Like, Kelleher wasn't really having to make any saves. Van Dijk was having it all his way. And Anthony.
Yeah.
Big moment. And look, I'm gonna give Anthony his props here. I know that's only his second goal of the season.
On Big
The
Virgil.
first one was against Newport, but you come in at Old Trafford against Liverpool on the spin, buried bottom corner.
he took the goal like he scores. He's been scoring those. All season. Like he's been scoring those all season.
Took the goal like he was Victor Gyökeres.
Yeah.
And sent the game into extra time.
I honestly don't know what to say about because and this is the same thing with the Atletico Madrid game, the same thing with our game. I think games that go to extra time are so tough to analyze because of how long they are. Like so much has happened in the match. United were poor for so many minutes, for such large portions of the match. Yeah, but I agree with you that I think Liverpool threw the game away because even still, whilst Anthony has scored, whilst that miracle has sort of happened to get them on level terms, Rashford missing that chance before they go into extra time gives you the upper hand, gives you the mental advantage, gives you the momentum. And you would think mentality monsters like Klopp's 11 would, drill down on that. Then you go ahead.
Yep.
You get that goal.
And when Harvey Elliott scored, you kind of alluded to it already. I thought that was it.
I was even saying, I didn't say it on the chat, but I was thinking, I was like, yo, they should stop doing extra time and just go straight onto penalties. Because I know that United and Liverpool are just going to like...
And then the way Harvey Elliott was hugging Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, Jurgen Klopp was demanding a hug.
But I mean, after that, they scored right before half-time and extra time. I thought, yeah, man, there's no way. I just don't see United scoring or United. But if there was one Man United player that was going to bring them back into that game, Marcus Rashford.
BGB.
Rise. The big game bully. Right, and I said this before. If Arteta wants to save anyone's career, bring Marcus Rashford.
Nah, you can keep him.
Right, because his record in those big games.
No, it's incredible. It's nuts. He actually doesn't leave.
Yeah, but Rashford's getting his. And nobody else on that pitch was going to score that goal to make it 3-3. I get them back.
I give Rashford a ton of credit for keeping on going because. He could have. We've seen him drop his head.
Well, what did Nick say? You can't give him free charges.
He could have easily dropped his head. I'm like, we've seen him drop his head this season. We've seen him look lackluster, lethargic, not want to be involved. But today or yesterday, he was at it.
Yeah.
He didn't care about the last miss. He wanted the ball again.
Yeah.
He didn't care about the last miss again. He wanted the ball again.
And Scott McTominay again. Perfect pass.
Yo, this I don't know who I think it wasn't FCM. I was going to say, I don't know who I saw say it, but Ten Hag also deserves some credit for profiling McTominay correctly. Like, he is that.
Well, it's about time.
He is, yeah. But I was thinking, though, in that match, like, I know Man United want to sell McTominay for, logical reasons, but he's one of the very few players that runs for the badge.
McTominay's, I've said, he's underrated.
Man. That Marcus Rashford pass through to him in extra time where he just misses, like, hits it just wide.
Yeah.
Like, that is out of just sheer love and dedication. That long busting run from, the halfway line to get onto a hopeful ball. Well, it's a really good pass from Marcus Rashford, but like, no one else. Amrabat is not making that. Sabitzer and all these guys who you've signed over the past couple of years aren't making that
Casemiro.
run. Yeah. They're not making that run. That came out of just, I've been for the academy. I want to win this game. And I do give him credit for that because I know that is what fans want to see. And me, myself, who's not even a United fan, I hate United, but I was like, all right, some respect.
Yeah.
For sure.
Crunching challenges.
Yeah.
And you need that in a derby game. You need that. And a huge moment for Amad Diallo. I actually thought when Garnacho gave him that pass, didn't think it was a great pass. I thought the chance was gone. And,
I didn't think he was going to bury it.
Yeah, it was a great finish.
But I said this about United a couple episodes ago about how, like, they have an ability to catch lightning in a bottle. And this was like a glimpse of that.
Yeah.
Garnacho and Diallo and Rashford and like their Kobbie Mainoo, like their players, young players more often than not, playing great football for them, scoring the big goals, deciding the games. Like, it ended up being the perfect day for Man United. Like, all the goal scorers, they could sort of hang their hat on this season. Well, not hang their hat on this season, but like they can say, hey, look, apart from McTominay, I want these guys to carry my club forward.
Yeah.
Moving forward. Then I think United have that ability in them to like have that perfect day. In football.
Especially at Old Trafford.
Exactly.
In a game like that against Liverpool. And I mean, for me personally, Kobbie Mainoo and Garnacho in particular.
Yeah, serious footballers.
Like, I know Kobbie Mainoo came off towards the end of the 90, I think. But we even said it a couple of times on the chat. Like,
they're serious.
He's a serious footballer. But
he's the reason they're not re-signing Amrabat.
Yeah, 100%. And Garnacho played the full 120 minutes.
Yeah.
And for him to be busting a gut the way he is in the dying embers of the game. And Garnacho is just I've always kind of been a bit of a fan of Garnacho from when he came on.
The goal that
came on the scene early.
Touted to be the goal of the season.
Yeah, and at the moment I'm right.
Still not seen Michael Olise's goal. You said we would see it.
You said we would see Garnacho's one.
It's coming. Muniz has something. Muniz has something.
Potentially. But look, man, the thing with Garnacho, and I said from early that why he's betting Sancho, why he's betting Anthony, why he's betting all these guys, is because what I see in Garnacho, I saw in the very early signs of Martinelli.
Dog.
And in the sense of just no fear.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get the ball.
South American though,
and it's me v you. just let's dance.
That's all they know.
1v1. It's me v you, and I'm gonna keep coming. And Martinelli, when he was 18, Europa League or whatever it was,
he doesn't care if he lost the ball. Went out for a throw in.
Go again. I will say Martinelli had more finesse.
Yeah.
Even at that young age,
you think? I think Garnacho actually has a bit more finesse.
No, because sometimes I think Garnacho's end product is a bit whack.
I think Martinelli had better end product, but I think like Garnacho has a bit more of the back heels and the flicks and and the.
I think Martinelli was even more direct when he.
Martinelli was more direct. I don't know.
Martinelli was rarely looking for that pass back.
It's true, and I think the only reason Garnacho is looking for that pass back inside is because he's started like 20 games in a row.
Yeah.
Like I feel like beginning of the season, Garnacho had one thing in his he was coming on just to rip your right back or left back and get to the byline or whatever it is. But I do see what you're saying 100%. I think your point stands, and I think honestly that's how in South America they make their wingers. It's just like straight up dogs. But from a Liverpool perspective, we've spoken about Klopp, we've spoken about farewells, we've spoken about
there will be no quadruple.
But just, do you think this result weighs on their mind? Do you think this is something that they brush aside and say, hey, this happens every once in a while? Because I said this in the chat, these two have to play each other again in the league, and that is going to be really juicy. I almost wanted no one to win the game. I prefer the Man United did, but I almost wanted no one to win the game to when the league tie came around for both sides to be like, oh, we just have to go at each other. So I'm more interested in your thoughts of where do you think this result leaves Liverpool? You saw how testy Klopp was after the match. All of this kind of stuff. At the end of the day, they couldn't put the team to bed who had Bruno Fernandes at right centre back, who didn't have a midfield, who had Garnacho and Amad Diallo up front. Like, you would have. I know Liverpool had, players that they took off and all this kind of stuff, but you still would have thought they would have put that team to bed.
Yeah. I mean, I think. Look, it's a nasty one to sit on for 2 weeks. It's a nasty one to sit on.
Do you think they bounce back and it's all guns blazing, or do you think it's like this could creep into the mentality of like, hey, we might not be all the way there?
I think that Liverpool team is good enough and like mature enough to like not let it just completely derail their season.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna fall apart.
But I mean, I've said all season that I don't think they're gonna win the league.
Yeah, you have.
I don't think that the midfield in particular, I just don't think it can win a Premier League title.
Yeah, I can't lie, I was so pissed when Endo scored. Because I just knew how much gas. And as I said last week, I thought Endo played great versus Man City. but I just knew the gas was going to be unbelievable.
But to see Endo, the Szoboszlai memes, by the way, are some of the best Twitter content out there.
Sabozo. That's what
it'd be like a video of some guy licking his lip or biting his bottom lip or whatever, and it's just like Szoboszlai when Man United are on the counter attack. But see,
that one tweet where it was like, the sooner Szoboszlai starts his career, the better for
all of us. But to see Endo, McAllister, and Szoboszlai go to that massive pitch at Old Trafford and get run up on by Mainu, McTominay, and Bruno was good to see, just in the sense of like,
this is how it should be.
This is what I'm expecting from this midfield. Yeah, this is what should be happening.
We need to lengthen every Premier League pitch width.
Yeah. You know, and I don't know I don't even know what like the actual dimensions are of the Old Trafford pitch and whatever.
It just seems massive.
But whenever teams play at Old Trafford, the pitch just seems like, even last year when we went there and Rashford's running in behind Saliba, and it's just like there's just like 50 yards between Rashford and the penalty area. But look, I think Liverpool will come back. But like you say, man, they got to go to Old Trafford again.
Yeah, and United are gonna
and Man United fans are already saying, Flex is saying, and we'll do you again.
It's gonna be a tough game,
and I think that's gonna be a big one, because look, whether if United had lost this one, you could have said they'll be more ramped up to win the league game.
Yeah.
Even though United have won, maybe that puts a bit of doubt in Liverpool's mind of like, we got to go back here in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We got to come back here and do this all over again.
And also, one thing I wanted to say on Liverpool, or two things I wanted to say, is one, really small, but you know, I know Salah played and Salah had a Salah performance.
Yeah.
You know, but is it just me, or does he not look anywhere near as quick as he used to be? Like, still quick, still a Premier League footballer, but Salah used to be this sort of like speed demon almost. And I know he's not fully fit.
I know. I'd be very cautious of saying something like that.
And I know it's quick.
Like, it only takes one moment for Salah to completely rinse someone
against Aya, Brentford, Nathan Collins.
I think they played Brighton, Lewis Dunk.
But I was just literally, as I was thinking for some of those counterattacks that Liverpool were having, I was like, how is Salah not 30 yards ahead of this guy by now? You know, and I say,
I get what you mean, because there are times when Salah's just electric.
Yo.
But I'd be cautious saying that.
Yeah, no, look, one to watch, fans, keep your eye on him.
Yeah.
And then two, I think we do need to have some Gakpo conversations, because I've been...
Wow.
Is it?
I can't believe we've spoken about Man United for... Well, Man United Liverpool for almost 20 minutes. And you have not mentioned Virgil van Dijk.
It's coming.
Okay.
It's coming.
Because you said two things.
Yeah,
and then you said Salah and Gakpo.
It's coming.
So I thought that was it.
But
yeah, Gakpo, horror performance.
It's
horror performance.
The performance.
Carragher said he plays the game like it's slow motion.
It's not even the performance. I mean, it is the performance, but it's the like. And Gakpo has 10 goals in all competitions or whatever he does, but it's the like, the what are you type of question that I'm getting, because
false 9, left winger,
8 maybe, like you know, I just think that he's an interesting signing.
Everyone wants a Kai Havertz,
and I'm not completely selling my stocks in Gakpo and saying he's a dud, he's not going to do nothing, but I just think that he has been semi underwhelming, and he did come with a bit of buzz around him.
It's looking tough for him in this league.
Yeah, he makes it look tough.
Yeah.
Like, he makes it look tough, you know. And then VVD.
The stage is yours.
After the Carabao, and I said this. After the Carabao, everybody was talking about VVD. Now, this is what cements him as the greatest the Premier League has ever seen. I said VVD, no one has a better PR than VVD. Because he needs not even Saliba yet. He needs to do bare minimum.
I've never seen a video of a Saliba mistake on Twitter ever.
To be fair, that's true, and he makes them.
When Perisic had Van Dijk stripping,
it's everywhere.
I've seen that.
It's everywhere. I hear that because VVD it's a bigger fall from grace. You know, Saliba's still building his come up.
But go on.
But my thing about VVD is, and it's not that this is the game that ends all conversations about him being one of the greatest Premier League footballers ever, but these are the games that go completely under the radar for VVD, conceding 4 goals. If you had Manchester United have a 0 goal difference in the Premier League, or a negative goal difference in the Premier League, and now you're conceding 4 goals to Abba Diallo, Anthony. You're giving Marcus Rashford 3 chances.
Well, that's Marcus Rashford.
Don't do that. McTominay is crashing it in the box. You should have had another one. Like, hold it together.
Yeah.
Push the team up the pitch. Do the whole, I think. And
hey, we've all been saying that VVD is this guy holding these youngsters together.
That's what I'm saying. Like, all right, calm, VVD, and even in the Chelsea game, they were lucky to win that game because Nicholas Jackson and Sterling and all these guys.
The revisionism.
No.
The revisionism. We weren't hearing any of this after they won.
All I'm saying is, as much as we're ready, or as much as fans are ready to stamp VVD as the greatest ever for winning a Carabao Cup, pre these kind of games that happen somewhat, not regularly, but happen every now and again for Liverpool. And I think he's holding the bag a lot of the time on a lot of these goals. I think he is holding that Anthony Garth. He's holding the bag
time on a lot of these goals.
And I just think that he doesn't ever get the as I was saying, there's certain levels, there's certain names, JT, Rios, Campbell's, that I think VVD is in and amongst them and has every right to be mentioned with those names. But I don't think that from Carabao Cup performances, we should start saying he's categorically better than all. Some of these guys have won 4 or 5 Premier Leagues.
Yeah.
Like playing 38 games week in, week out.
Did you see the stat that was like Fernando Torres has 3 goals against Nemanja Vidic. Marcus Rashford has 7 against VVD.
I'm not here to kill VVD because he is a great defender. He is one of the best the Premier League has ever seen.
But you are here to kill VVD.
He is one of the best in the world right now. But I'm here to make a point about his PR is insane.
We'll move it on from that game. There was some Premier League action this weekend that we will speak about. Firstly, Burnley versus Brentford. Shout out Muric, the goalkeeper that Vincent Kompany brought in. I don't know why Kompany didn't make that change any sooner. Obviously, they spent like 20 million on James Trafford, so probably thought I have to stick with this guy for as long as possible. But yeah, they bagged the pen. Reguilon doing what Reguilon does.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about
cannot defend?
Spoiler alerts. Yeah. Reguilon is the name will be mentioned again.
Yeah. Reguilon's getting rookie of the week. And David Datro.
Did you see his
bagging?
Did you see his miss though?
Yeah. The way he runs found at keeper, that would have been brilliant if he had scored that. But yeah, I mean, the way he takes his goal, was really good. And yeah, man, I think we spoke about it briefly off air, but that pass back when Muric is scrambling across his line,
they had to make a double save.
That is.
You can't
position down to 10 men.
Yeah.
Burnley 1-0 up. Let's just gift them away back into the game.
There's certain gifts in the Premier League, but that, man, that is wrapped up with a bow on it.
Yeah.
Just get back in this game, get something from this match. But
I'll put it in my own net for you.
Yeah. I want to give Burnley a lot of credit because, you won a game and that was, Brentford aren't guaranteed 3 points. Yeah. So that does deserve a lot of credit. I was just telling you off air that it's incredible what this win does for Burnley. Yeah. I mean, even beyond the Nottingham Forest points deduction, but they were all of a sudden like 5 points, 4 points away from Luton, and like 6 points away from Nottingham Forest at the time, who were just at the relegation zone. So this win, it is a sign of life for Burnley. Yeah. Like it gives them something. You get 1 or 2 more of these. 3 more of these, you could.
3.
I know it's a lot.
Burnley have won 3 games all season.
But do you remember that?
You said them to win 3 of the last 10.
Do you remember that Sunderland game? That Sunderland team under Gus Poyet. That was that's what this win. It gives them the possibility to be mentioned in those kind of relegation.
Bro, these guys are trying to pass the ball in their own net.
They're rubbish. They're terrible. They will go down. But what I'm gonna say is, I thought I've been speaking about Burnley as if they're dead and buried for weeks.
They are.
Yeah. And seeing that win and seeing what that win has put them in the table, it's like, yo, you might just be dead and not buried.
The one thing about Burnley that we said from maybe like the start of this podcast till about January was they play good ball.
They play good stuff, yeah.
Right? And the Sunderland comparison, I think, would be a fair comparison to make if Burnley weren't gifting opposition goals. Right? Like, if Burnley had...
And Brentford still got one back with the time to get more.
If I could tell you, in the last 10 games of the season, Burnley will keep 3 clean sheets, right? Then they might be able to get those 3 wins. And who knows, they might be able to have the great escape. But in these last 10, they didn't even keep a clean sheet
in this
against
game.
10 men.
Yeah. And they almost conceded at the end.
The amount that Whistle had a chance, the way he goes through.
Yeah.
The spaces are crazy. Crazy, right?
But Burnley
will concede. They probably won't keep a clean sheet from now to the end of this.
You know, they probably won't. And I said it comes down to outscoring. If David Datro can turn the 1-1s into 2-1s, and
3-2s, 4-3s is what it's going to have to be.
Something can happen. And that's all I'm here to say is I killed Burnley a lot this season, but that win has given you like United's chances of getting top 4.
Yeah.
You can maybe just do it, you know. And like all these guys, they got tough games. They could easily lose their next 3 games. If you start getting a draw, you stop, you know, like it just means that you're not completely cast away from everybody else.
Look, you are right, because like, look, from our opinion, fans' opinion, we can say, but for those that Burnley
from the players,
they will look at the table and they will have some belief.
100%.
Yeah,
as you know, as they should. And look, the games in and around the teams, amongst you, those they turn from 6 pointers to 9 pointers, bro. You start. I don't know who Burnley's fixtures are, but you take points of Luton and Nottingham Forest.
It could be.
Those are the games you need. Those,
Everton,
get 2 wins.
Brentford.
Get 2 wins out of Everton, Luton, Nottingham Forest, or whatever. Oh my god!
I don't know if they still have to play Sheffield, but But in terms of Brentford are in trouble.
Brentford are in trouble, man. I mean,
and why? Please tell me, Michael, why am I waking up and seeing Ivan Toney interviews about him going to Madrid?
Yeah, what's he on? Ivan Toney has taken this too far.
I know he laughs after he says it.
He's taking this too far, but I don't know.
But there's a part of Ivan Toney that genuinely believes I could go and play for Madrid. And it's funny because Armand said to me, how many goals do you reckon he scores at Madrid? And I was like, probably 15.
Yeah.
Like he's better than Hosteluk.
Hosteluk, exactly. And Hosteluk.
Yeah. But if Ivan Toney's not careful and he doesn't start bagging some goals, his next move is going to be Crystal Palace.
You know, the thing about Ivan Toney is everybody in world football knows you're going to move on this summer. Yeah. Everybody knows you want to move. Everybody knows you need to move. And like... You've told us. We've heard it. We've heard the call.
We said we don't want to hear any more interviews.
We've heard the call. Just keep Brentford up. Brentford don't deserve to go down.
Yeah.
Like, well, I guess if you go down, you do deserve it. But like Jensen and Norgard and Buemo, who is out, and you know,
back on the weekend.
Rico Henry and Pinnock and all these guys who are out. Yep. Like, they're good enough to be here in the Premier League next year. I know they've had a poor season. Just show show something to the club to say, I'm not going to leave you completely in the lurch. Keep them up. Move on. Yeah. We hear you. Yeah, bro. You'll get a move. Yeah. Who's to? We don't know, but you'll get a move. Yeah. And that's it. Like, I'm tired of seeing Ivan Toney's face everywhere on some who's gonna take me this summer
on some new interview.
Yeah. There's no new information. We know.
But yeah, man, Brentford need to pattern their shit. In those
big
last
time
10 games because it's looking peak. But yeah, move it on to the last game we're gonna talk about. The most enjoyable game of the weekend. One of the most surprising results. But Tottenham went to Craven Cottage and they got demolished.
They got demolished.
And I'm gonna enjoy this one because I was bigging up Marco Silva.
2 weeks ago. I was about to say
Marco Silva does what he does. He's a good manager. He's a good coach, and he tactically schooled. And
do you know what's funny? about this performance and results and everything is like, this is when you know the levels in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Because like you look at Marco Silva, he's a good manager. You look at Fulham and you think 12th?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
This is the 12th or 13th best team.
Yeah.
In this, the way they moved to Tottenham the other day, you wouldn't think that this is the 12th or 13th best team.
You think that's a Europa League team?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Anthony Robertson.
Yo, Anthony
on that left back position.
That's the first standing ovation on this pod, man. The way he was marauding down that left hand side. I thought I was watching Ashley Cole.
Green grass every time ahead of him. He does what he wants.
Yo, that left flank was his.
He does what he wants.
Pedro
going forwards,
Porro,
going backwards.
Dickhead defensively.
The ball for Muniz's first goal.
What a ball.
On the run. At full tilt. And Muniz. I spoke about Muniz on this pod.
Rodrigo.
Muniz, yeah. This is also another, the levels of the Premier League. Because Muniz is 7-7.
Yeah.
like what are we doing here? Muniz is 7-7. So I give him a lot of credit. Shout out Muniz. I can't believe he's 22. I don't know where he's come from. I honestly don't. He's just popped up and he started to do the business.
Just keeps bagging goals.
And he's bagging all sorts of goals.
Yeah. I mean, the first goal, the touch.
Yes, I'm saying.
And then the finishes, even after he takes the touch, I'm thinking, this is tough. Tough.
Fulham have a nice balance of like, you've got the Willians and the Andreas Pereiras for a little bit of creativity. You got Palhinha for industry, work rate.
Another great performance.
You know, yeah. I even like what Calvin Bassey and and they were doing. You know, I respect what Fulham have done big time. I think Marco Silva is doing a good job there. But to be honest, Fulham deserve a lot of praise. But this is more so on Tottenham, not because it was like the worst performance Tottenham have ever put in, but this is so Spursy. It's so Tottenham to put in such a big performance last week. Beat Villa 4-0 at home, cut down the gap to 2 points in the top 4 race. You have a chance to go above Villa last week, or the weekend just gone. And to just lacklusterly turn up and expect that you're just going to get 3 points.
Yep.
I just think that is...
They thought they were going to turn up there and bop them.
I think they thought that they could turn up there and
not be at their best.
Play 5 or 6 out of 10, and it'll be 2-0 before half time, and maybe at the London Stadium that could work. Yeah. But
Tottenham gonna start playing at West Ham.
Sorry, maybe
it's Tottenham Hotspur.
Maybe at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium that could work. But I think Fulham at home, that's what's kept them where they are. Their away form has been terrible, but their home form has been good.
Expressions called it craven cookage.
Yeah, and he's not wrong. Yo, they were cooked.
Yeah,
they were definitely. They didn't have
diced,
much to shout about. Even the chances that they did create were half chances, sort of at best.
Yeah,
I mean, sorry,
apart from off his knee,
apart from that Timo Werner.
Turbo Timo. In Ange we trust.
Turbo Timo.
If Ange wants Timo,
but I just think that is so Tottenham to win big last week. Have everybody sort of hype you up, and this is it. This is Tottenham. This is us. To then just go and put in that performance the week afterwards and be right back at zero, right back at square one.
Yeah,
I just think is so crazy ridiculous, and I just think like I think it's going to be maybe one of those situations where everybody's trying to throw away top 4 because even Villa,
it's the classic.
Even Villa didn't get the job done. And West Ham are a tough team. Don't get me wrong.
Villa were lucky to get a point.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, look, last week I said when Udogi's not playing Saka, he's a serious guy. I think I can add Iwobi to that list.
Yo,
when he's not playing Saka, because Iwobi.
Shout out Iwobi for the season, not just for this game.
Dog walk.
He's had a good season.
Udogi for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Dog walked. Like, Bat said that was going too far, but I don't know if Bat was watching the same game. Because Iwobi was the Castagna on the overlap. Udogi had no idea what was going on in that game. And poor performance from him. Yves Saint Laurent Basuma.
What are we doing here?
Declan Rice ain't got the same bag as Basuma.
That's what they were saying. It's crazy. That whole Tottenham
and you know, you said about it's still so funny. I remember when you said this, that Caicedo gives the ball away so carelessly. Yeah, this like there are games when I can watch Tottenham and I know in the first 10 minutes, your Basuma is on it.
Yeah.
Our game against him in North London Derby at the Emirates, probably Basuma's best performance of the whole season. I knew in the first 10 minutes, Basuma, he's ready for this. But likewise, that first 10 minutes at Craven Cottage, I saw Basuma give the ball away like 4 times. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be one of those.
You know, the
games.
funny thing about Basuma is like he can dilly-dally with the ball at his feet. He'll pick it off Romero and not move 5 yards and just dilly-dally with the ball at his feet and get caught and be like, how have they got to me? Who told me? No one said man on. like bro, you've got to do better. And I heard something crazy in that game about Vicario's only kept 6 clean sheets all season.
Yeah.
And it is beyond me how Tottenham's defense gets so much love and praise and admiration.
Even on FCM, when they asked Fuad about the back four thing, he was like, well, originally the thing was Tottenham's fullbacks over obviously Arsenal can have the centre backs, and Cam's was like, yeah, to be fair, I agree with the full. Bro,
what are we doing?
Arsenal, Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel, Tomiyasu.
Yeah.
None of Tottenham's back four gets in there.
Yeah.
Udogie can get in it as like come and sit on the bench, learn from Tomiyasu, learn from Zinchenko. In 3-4 years,
you'll be the guy.
You can have a part-time role in this team. Yeah. Pedro Porro is just a waste man.
Yeah.
Like he is nowhere near the level of Ben White. Nowhere near.
Pedro Porro just switches off too much defensively. But yeah, look, I think I don't know how you lean in the top 4 race, top 5 race. I don't know if you have any favorites.
Do you remember I said last week? I said, and
you said it. I said United are going to be 3 points.
United are going to be 3 points behind Tottenham, and we're really going to see what this team's made of.
And that legitimately could happen.
And it's coming.
Yeah, because Tottenham still have to play the top 3 teams.
Tottenham have to play City, Arsenal, Liverpool. They have to go to St. James's. They have to go to Stamford Bridge.
It's not going to be easy. And
that's 5 of their last 10. They have to go to West Ham as well.
Yeah. So it could come. Look, I still think Villa hold on to fourth spot, but I think Emery is trying his hardest.
Yeah.
To throw it away. I think Emery's trying his absolute hardest to throw away the position. And
we know what Emery's like chasing top 4.
Yeah.
One thing I will say about Tottenham is I think Mickey van der Ven was a big miss for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is their best defender.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But look, man, that top 4 race is going to be interesting, man. Tottenham fans. But you told me it was wrapped up. When we saw you at Christmas, you told me it was wrapped up, and it better be.
It better be. I'll be there if Tottenham don't make top 4. I'll be there to remind everybody what they were saying during the season.
But MVPs and rookies of the week.
I wrote them down this week.
Yeah. First MVP.
Yeah.
Dallas Mavericks.
Kyrie. I watched this game myself.
Unbelievable.
Do you know, I said this to you. I messaged you and I was like, unbelievable game winner from Kyrie.
Yep.
But Denver are going to go back to back because the Mavs played great all game. They were up 10 points with like 2-3 minutes to go. They were like playing the better basketball. It looked like Denver Nugget was in second gear, honestly, the whole match. Yeah. And then it was like, 10-point game, 2 minutes to go. And then Jokic and Murray just started the 2-man game.
Yeah.
And it was like, they were just going back to back to back.
Fugazi 2-man
buckets. And then it came to a point now where Jamal Murray synced a big 3 and they were up 3.
Yeah.
They were up 3 with like 12 seconds or 10 seconds to go or something ridiculous like that. And then I was like, there is no way Denver win this game. I've not seen them lead since about the very opening of the third quarter. Since we came in from halftime, I've not seen them had the lead in this game. And then Lucas sunk a big 3 to tie the game. Classic.
Yeah.
And then Kyrie won it for them. Incredible.
Left-handed.
This is one of those shots. typically it's
falling
like
away floater.
He should be under the rim. Even if he was under the rim, that's a tough shot. Yeah. To do that 20 feet away from the rim, behind the free throw line,
falling away.
Jokic on top of him, 8 inches taller than him.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? It's a 7-footer on a guy that's 6'2". You know, it's like the hardest difficulty.
Yeah.
And another thing I'll say is, game winners or buzzer beaters, I should say, in the NBA are so tough to come by.
Yeah.
Like, for that to be Kyrie's second ever only buzzer beater, I heard something like Steph the other day just got his first ever buzzer beater. Like, it shows you how rare it is to be in these situations where it's tie game, the clock counting down, and for players to step up in those moments, you know. But yeah, huge credit to Mark Cuban as well. It was crazy. He was just like, obviously he was sidelines, just screaming. I saw him at full time on the court, hugging everybody in the middle of the crowd. I was like, imagine if he had a 90-minute win and Kroenke's down there.
Josh Kroenke's
he's down there with everybody. But no, big credit to these guys. I had Kobe Mainoo.
Yeah.
Amad Diallo.
Yeah.
I had Ben White for sure. I had
Ben White, our second.
Muniz.
Muniz
is love. I had Aubameyang for last week. I was telling you. Aubameyang scoring like 22, 23 goals in League One. I was speaking about Aubameyang like he was done.
Yeah. Marseille in the quarterfinals of the Europa League.
Yeah. No, they've done well.
I had the Chuckle brothers, Noni and Carney. They're getting an MVP from me this week. Both scored really nice goals.
Did you see the Tom and Jerry video with
Yeah. The Trevor Chalobah one, man. I've been texting him on today saying your team is just vibes.
It's vibes.
You're so unserious, but your team is just vibes. But look, I said even when I gave them the rookie, I said I like them both as players.
I like them both. I like them both as players and as people. But I'd also just like.
But you wouldn't like them as people if it was at Arsenal. Right?
No, I wouldn't like them. That's the thing. It's like you want your professional football players to be like, I'm a professional football player.
Exactly, yeah.
Carney and Nunny, they give you the vibe of, I part-time play football.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Like, I saw someone say, Carney is living proof that if you take your life seriously, you don't have to go on Love Island. Right? And they both give me that vibe.
Yeah, it was funny.
But yeah, they'll get an MVP from me this week because the link up with Carney.
Ten Hag, to be fair, probably deserves one.
Ten Hag's getting a rookie.
You think?
Bro, it's been like 9 months since the Arsenal.
Where's the play?
Why? You've just beaten Liverpool.
You know, I actually
in an FA Cup quarter final at Old Trafford. You stopped the Jurgen Klopp farewell tour. You won it in the last minute. And you're coming out in your post-match press conference and saying we should have had a penalty at Arsenal.
Do you know what I love and hate about that is, one, I hate that he's like, oh, that would have changed our season. Bro, stop it. But I love the fact that game has so clearly kept him up at night.
Every night.
And it's not even a foul on
he wakes up in a cold sweat with Dallo sliding that way.
I have no idea why he's going on and on about it like it's a banker nailed on foul on Højlund. He just got Gabriel.
Yeah.
Like he just got Gabriel.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
That is never, ever a foul.
Yeah. And one more champ I'll give is to Gusto, just for consistent performances, bro.
Yeah.
Gusto is doing it.
Yeah, he is.
Right.
I've got Pochettino MVP. I said this earlier in the shot, taking Chelsea to Wembley in 2 different competitions.
Well, I don't know if I have Poch yet. I saw a tweet that was like, Chelsea fans, just wait for what Poch cooks up.
If you think you hate him now, wait for what he cooks up in the FA Cup semi-final. But then, in terms of rookies, I think, did you already give one to Gakpo?
Oh, no, I ain't giving it to him yet.
Gakpo's
there. I got Sterling.
Yep, Raheem Sterling.
I've got Reguilon.
And Sparta Prague. You can't lose 11-2 on aggregate.
I didn't even see the second leg over here.
Well, Sparta Prague turned up to Anfield like they'd never seen anyone go to Anfield before. It was 4-0 after 15 minutes. They've lost 5-1 in the home game. So I'm not expecting them to do anything.
Yeah.
But how are you going to be 4-0 down after 15 minutes?
Bare minimums. I also had
the way they were trying to play out, and Liverpool were just robbing them for fun, and then Salah's there with a 1-on-1.
I'm seeing
criminal performance.
I had my FPL as a rookie of the week. I played my free hits for those at home, and boy, did I get it wrong. Can I tell you something? If I could go back in time, I'd bring the exact same players into my free hit. Bowen, Kudus, I'd Watkins in there, but Flecking in there. Burnley at home.
Yeah.
How's Flecking and Reguilon not keeping me a clean sheet? How's Tony
I thought that was a double banker.
how's Tony not getting on the score sheet? I got every decision. I got Calvin Bassey as my last.
There's one
third
change I would
sub.
make.
What would you change?
Morris out. Muniz
in. Yeah. I agree with you. But I played my free hit thinking like, oh, this is going to be the week where I climb up on everybody who's above me. I know people have used their free hits already.
Yeah,
guys have 2 to 3 players playing max. I thought, oh, this is my week.
I thought this was going to be the separation between me and Wav.
Yeah. I honestly thought I was going to gain a good 20, 30 points on people.
Yeah.
And guys who did not play their wild card.
And that would have bumped you up to like 11th.
Yeah. Hey, well, with the run, 10 games to go, 80s minimum from here on out.
Hey, look, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, that's everything from me. Thank you guys for listening. If you are watching on YouTube, subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify, follow us. And make sure you tune in next week, because obviously next week there are no fixtures. Obviously there's an international break, but we will have a special episode coming next week. So yeah, thank you guys for listening, and peace.